Hi, Queens. So today we're going to go through some affirmations to remember our full power, and whether you choose to repeat these or simply soak them in, we're going to shed the weight of any microaggressions or unwarranted doubts that have accumulated in our system over the years. Let's go. My intuition has never actually been wrong. It has only ever been overruled by self-doubt, by people-pleasing, by overthinking, by the noise of other people's certainty. I am done overruling it. I am not too much. I am exactly enough. No one can tell me that the person I am is too large or too radiant for this world. Mother Nature created me, just like all of Earth's wonders, to radiate beauty and ingenuity in abundance. If others can't handle that, it's time for them to step out of my life so I can realign. I am exactly as I am meant to be. No matter how many times I was interrupted, spoken over, or had my expertise questioned by someone less qualified, my knowledge stands on its own. I do not need to prove myself as a reaction to discrimination. I know what I know, and that is enough. I speak my knowledge confidently and boldly. I am confident through my expertise, and I will save my energy for the environments in which that expertise is valued. I am allowed to take up space in rooms, in conversations, in the world. My presence does not need to be justified or earned. I walk in fully and I stay. No matter how many times my assertiveness was labeled as aggression, while the same trait in others was called leadership, I know the difference, and I lead unapologetically. I know that I am empathetic and altruistic. I don't need to sacrifice my well-being or social status for that altruism. I can rise into leadership by being appreciated for the contributions I make. I release every apology I was trained to make for wanting things, wanting more, wanting better, wanting differently. My desires are not indulgences, they are directions. No matter how many times I was told I was too emotional for the boardroom or the corporate world, my emotions are a form of intelligence, not a disqualification from the conversation. My emotional intelligence is deeply relational and has the power to optimize teamwork and collaboration. If I am so perceptive and so sensitive that I notice every single misalignment and tension within a team, I can use that power of perception to make suggestions for improvement and lead the way towards a stronger organizational design. I celebrate my body for what it does and how it feels, not how it appears to others. My body is the sacred vessel in which I move through the cosmos. I take care of it so it can take care of me. We are one interconnected organism, expressing consciousness through biology. The highest priority for my body temple is that it has the nutrients, rest, and attention to take care of us. When I feel good, we are doing well. Whether the external manifestation of that well-being conforms to others' visual concept of health does not matter to me. I am my highest priority. I trust my own anger. It is information, not a flaw. Anger makes me aware of my boundaries and whether they've been overstepped. When I sense anger, I listen more closely, and I let the wisdom of my intuition guide me towards alignment. I do not perform seriousness to be taken seriously. I simply am serious about my work, my vision, and my life. That is enough, and anyone who can't see it isn't my audience. No matter how many times my ambition was called selfishness, or my boundaries were called coldness, I know that protecting myself is not a personality flaw. Anyone who does not value my well-being enough to accept my boundaries does not deserve access to me or my energy. If others don't like the optics of my ambition, that's not my problem. The people who are meant to align with me will find me. The rest can move away. My societal acceptance is not determined by how pleasing, quiet, or agreeable I am. I bring so much value to my community through the person I am that the last thing I need to do is turn down the dial on my expression to be accepted. My empathy, my intelligence, my care, my wisdom, my vision, and my creativity are such infinitely valuable gifts that no one has the right to ask me to shrink, to make someone with less discipline or less self-awareness feel comfortable around me. No matter how many times I swallowed my perspective to keep the peace, I know now that my silence was never actually peaceful. Not for me. Conflict is not a bad thing, and tension is a natural part of life. I deserve to speak up when the situation is misaligned. I speak clearly and without apology, because the truth of what I see deserves a voice. I have been conditioned to see other women as competition for romantic relationships, for work opportunities, for attention, and for affection. I reject that lie completely. The women around me are mirrors, allies, and co-conspirators in something much larger than any one of us. No matter how many times people have underestimated my intelligence based on my beauty or kindness, I know I am infinitely capable. I release the habit of shrinking myself to make others comfortable. It is not my responsibility to make others comfortable or to regulate their nervous systems. I can shine, even if it means I'm outshining others. I deserve to communicate my full capability and glory in any moment. No matter how many times I was falsely praised for being one of the good ones or not like other women, I know that was never a compliment, and I stand proudly with other women. I do not need to betray feminist values to fit in or get ahead. We will all move ahead while respecting all people. No matter how many times I was made to feel my success depended on being likable rather than capable, I know my competence needs no softening. I deserve to be recognized as an expert or inventor just as much as any man. My capability makes me an asset to any business, and it is the responsibility of my team or my managers to recognize that. I will do my best work and display it clearly. All else follows naturally. If my capability is not being recognized due to bias, it's time to move on to something better. No matter how many times my sensitivity was treated as a liability, I know it is one of my most sophisticated instruments. I feel what others miss. I see what others skip. That is a superpower and an asset. It is not my responsibility to people please in a professional role. I am paid to do my job and contribute my knowledge and energy to the success of the project, not to participate in a popularity contest or inflate others' egos. No matter how many times my ideas were ignored until a man repeated them, my thinking is original, valuable, and worth hearing when I say them. I will build the platform and the reputation for my ideas to be attributed to me until they are acknowledged as my own. My value does not live in what I produce for others, how available I am, or how well I anticipate someone else's needs. I am not a resource. I am a person, whole, worthy, and complete without output. I was never waiting to be ready to lead. I was waiting for permission I was never going to be given. So I gave it to myself. I lead, I decide, and I do not apologize for either. My ambition is not aggression. It is power, and it belongs to me. When I move into a space with energy and willpower, I expect that energy to be received enthusiastically and supportively. I know that my intensity comes from altruistic and equitable intentions, and when I expect it to be received with open arms, it will be. I do not need a corporation to legitimize my expertise. The work I do, the results I create, and the lives I impact are my credentials. I own my platform, my voice, and my value entirely. No matter how many times entrepreneurship feels lonely or uncertain, I know that building something from nothing is one of the most radical acts of self-trust a person can take. I trust myself enough to keep going. I release the conditioning that taught me to make myself small enough to fit inside someone else's vision. I am the architect of my own vision. The discomfort of that freedom is the price of real ownership, and I pay it gladly. If the table I deserve doesn't exist yet, I will build it. I am not waiting for permission or validation to create something new. My vision is the blueprint, and I have everything I need to bring it into form. My business is not a backup plan or a side hustle. It is the full expression of my capability, my vision, and my values. I treat it and myself accordingly. Other women's success does not diminish mine. It expands what's possible for all of us. A vanguard changemaker opens pathways of possibility for all of us. Someone has to be the first to make new strides, and it's not always an easy task. I find the space within myself to appreciate the efforts of other women, even if they compete with my own. I know that we are stronger together than apart, and it's okay that there's more than one of us pursuing the same goal. No one has my unique voice or my unique perspective. The women who came before me did not have the language for what I am healing, but they carried it anyway, quietly, so that I could arrive here. Every boundary I hold, every truth I speak, every time I choose myself, I do it for all of us.